We're losing the war. The words echo through Earth's deep space monitoring station as technicians freeze. This isn't a transmission from human forces. Humanity has never waged an interstellar war in its entire history. This cry comes from somewhere beyond known space. Alien, desperate. 17 systems down in 6 days. Billions dead. The swarm consumes everything. Commander Jackson plays the message over and over, her face hardened. The voice, translated by advanced algorithms, continues with growing panic. Please, we know you're there. Our scanners detected your technology. It's different. You're our last hope. The command room at Earth Space Command falls into stunned silence. Humanity has maintained strict isolation for centuries, developing its technology while avoiding the chaos of galactic politics. But the galaxy has found them anyway. They're asking for military intervention, Admiral Saw says dryly. From a species they've never encountered. They're desperate. Jackson replies, enlarging the holographic projection. It displays the pattern of fallen systems, a methodical advance devouring space and the swarm. If these coordinates are correct, they'll reach our sector within decades. The hologram shifts to show Earth's pride, the HS Nemesis, slender, black, and bristling with experimental weapons systems. A prototype never designed to fight alone. A single ship taunts Saheo against an enemy that is destroying entire civilizations. Jackson's eyes narrow. One is all we need. Captain Elisa Chen watches his orders in disbelief. This is suicide. His second-in-command, Commander Reyes, reviews the mission briefing. The coalition has thousands of ships. Why ask us? Because they're losing, Chen replies, pacing the preparation room. They've tried their entire conventional arsenal. They're desperate enough to gamble on the unknown. We are, Reyes concludes. We are, Chen agrees. Our technology, our tactics, our willingness to do what others won't. The bridge of the Nemesis buzzes with activity as final preparations are completed. 300 crew members, the best of Earth, engineers, tacticians, and specialists hand-picked for this mission, are aboard. Many exchange worried glances as they sift through the scant information available about the swarm. Dr. Ilara Boss, a xenobiologist, studies the biological scans. They appear to be some kind of hive mind. Individual units. Collective consciousness. Weapons officer can run simulations on the main tactical display. Their individual ships are nothing special. It's their numbers and coordination that overcome defenses, and they're adapting, adds Strategic Officer Liu. They learn with every battle. Conventional tactics fail when they anticipate and counter. Chen silently absorbs the information. Her career has prepared her for command, but not for this. Humanity's first intervention in a galactic conflict. Her hand unconsciously touches the scar along her jawline. A reminder of the last time she faced impossible odds. Captain, interrupts Communications Officer Diaz. We're receiving another transmission from the Coalition. They're withdrawing from the Arcturus sector. 3 more systems lost while we were preparing. Chen straightens. Time to decide. All stations secure for launch. Rudder. Plot jump coordinates to Coalition HQ on Vega Prime, Captain, Reyes warns. Once we depart, we'll be on our own. Earth won't be able to send reinforcements. Chen's expression hardens. One ship is all they'll have. One ship is all we need. The Nemesis undocks from Earth's orbital dock, its experimental propulsion core throbbing with energy. As it accelerates toward the jump point, Chen makes a general announcement. Your captain speaks. We are about to leave our solar system in humanity's first military intervention beyond our borders. The enemy we face has decimated civilizations far more advanced than our own. But it hasn't faced us yet, it hasn't faced humanity yet. Remember your training, remember what's at stake. Not just the coalition worlds, but eventually Earth itself. Do we stand firm now, or will we fall later? The Nemesis reaches the jump point, space warps. Jump, Chen orders. The ship vanishes in a flash of light, carrying humanity's hopes into the unknown. The Nemesis emerges from the jump space in a ship graveyard. Fields of debris stretch for thousands of kilometers. The remains of a coalition battle group. Tactical analysis, Chen orders, his voice steady despite the carnage on screen. Over 40 ships destroyed, Kane reports. Varied designs. Most appear to have been ambushed while in defensive formation. Signs of life, escape pods scattered, minimal survivors, days. Transmit on all coalition frequencies. Identify us and explain our intentions. The bridge falls silent as they wait. Finally, a response arrives. Visual communication from a battered coalition command ship. The alien on screen resembles a bipedal bird with iridescent feathers and 4 piercing eyes. I am High Commander Teresh of the Coalition Defense Force, he says with an artificial cadence provided by the translation technology. Identify yourselves. Chen steps forward. Captain Elisa Chen. From the human system ship Nemesis. We received your distress call. Teresh's 4 eyes blink in unison. One ship. Earth sent only one ship. One is all we need, Chen repeats. Her mantra becomes a shield. Against doubt, Teresh's feathers bristle. The swarm has destroyed thousands of our ships. Your arrogance will kill you, human. But we are desperate enough to accept any help. Proceed to the coordinates we transmitted. Our war council awaits you. The transmission ends abruptly. How friendly, Reyes murmurs. They're losing their homes, Chen replies. I wouldn't be diplomatic either. The coalition headquarters orbits Vega Prime, a massive space station built from interconnected ships of varying designs. Evidence of the diverse species that make up the alliance. In the central war chamber, representatives of 12 species discuss a holographic projection of the disputed territory. The room falls silent as the human delegation enters. A reptilian alien with crystalline growths along his spine approaches. I'm General Kleeback of the Strategic Command. Your species has been isolationist for centuries. Why come now? The swarm won't stop with you, Chen replies. We've studied the pattern of your expansion. Earth is inevitable, so it's in our own interest. A gelatinous entity pulsating with bioluminescence snorts. Survival, Chen corrects. Yours and ours. Tears interjects. What can a single ship accomplish? What our combined fleets cannot. Chen nods to Officer Liu, who is loading tactical data into the hologram. Their ships are advanced, but their tactics are predictable. They fight with honor and established protocols. The swarm learns those patterns, and humans don't fight with honor. It's a massive being. Silicon-based. We fight to win, Chen says bluntly. We want to observe their next engagement. Study how the swarm operates. Murmurs of objection rise in the council. Kleeback's inner eyelids narrow. They want to see more of ours die. We want to understand our enemy, Chen retorts. They've been fighting them for 3 years. What have they learned about them? Their origins. Their purpose. An awkward silence answers his question as he expected. Chen concludes, we will help them fight, but we will also help them understand. The Nemesis maintains a position at the edge of the system, its sensors at maximum range. A coalition defense fleet protects mining operations vital to the war effort. Intelligence suggests the swarm will attack within hours. On the observation deck, Dr. Boss and Science Officer Patel analyze biological data from the swarm. Their individual units appear semi-organic, Boss Chen explains. But there's a synthetic integration unlike anything I've ever seen in cybernetics, Chen asks. Beyond that, Patel chimes in. The organic components aren't native to the synthetic parts. It's as if they were harvested. Chen's response is interrupted by a tactical alert. Swarm signatures are detected. The bridge screen shows hundreds of small insectoid ships emerging from jump points around the system. They move with perfect coordination, splitting into attack formations. Their tactics appear rudimentary. Lu observes as the battle unfolds. Why are the coalition ships having trouble? Number, Kane suggests, watching coalition ships fall one after another despite their superior firepower. No, Chen says, studying the pattern. They're adapting in real time. Look, that destroyer. She's using a new defensive protocol, but the swarm is already countering it. They communicate instantly. Reyes notices without latency. Perfect tactical awareness, a true hive mind. Voice confirms, a consciousness. Many bodies, the coalition forces initiate a combat withdrawal, abandoning the mining stations. Chen observes silently, then makes her decision. Combat stations. We're going to intervene. Reyes stares at her. Incredulous, Captain. Our orders are to assist the coalition. We are assisting. The Nemesis activates weapons systems that don't exist in the coalition's arsenal. As the ship accelerates toward the conflict, Chen lays out her plan. If they adapt through collective learning, let's give them something they can't predict. Can, randomized weapons cycle. Lu, implement the tactical pattern. Chao 7. They'll recognize Earth technology. Patel warns. Let them, Chen says harshly. The Nemesis slices through space, approaching at an oblique angle. The coalition commanders demand explanations as the human ship hurtles toward the heart of the swarm formation. What are they doing? Teresha's voice crackles over the comms. They'll surround them. The Nemesis fires its first salvo. Experimental phased arc cannons that bypass standard shields. Swarm ships explode in series, opening a corridor of destruction. Then the ship does something inexplicable. It shuts down all exterior lights and diverts power from the weapons. Now they're defenseless, Klabak exclaims. But Chen has noticed something others haven't. The swarm reacts instantly to active threats, weapon signatures, shield harmonics, targeting systems. The now dark Nemesis registers as debris, gravity mines, Chen orders. Proximity detonation. The Nemesis releases dozens of small, dark objects as it drifts through the swarm formation. When they detonate, they create localized gravity wells that crush swarm ships or pull them into collisions. The collective consciousness, confused by the unprecedented attack, divides its attention. The coalition forces, recognizing the opportunity, press their advantage. Within hours, the swarm withdraws, leaving nearly a third of its forces destroyed. Reckless. Teres shouts after the battle. Unauthorized intervention. They could have compromised the entire defensive line. We saved their mining operation, Chen replies calmly, and revealed our greatest weapon, adds Reyes privately. Upon returning to the Nemesis, they'll adapt to these tactics. Of course they will on Techen. That's why we won't use them again. Over the next few weeks, the Nemesis engages in defensive actions in 5 systems. Each time, Chen employs different strategies. Without establishing patterns the swarm can learn, the coalition commanders begin to respect the human approach, albeit grudgingly. In a rare moment of calm, Chen finds Voss in the ship's laboratory, surrounded by biological samples from the swarm recovered from destroyed ships. Any progress? Chen asks. Perhaps, Voss sighs. Its genetic structure includes markers from dozens of species, many unknown. They're collecting biological material. For what purpose? I'm not sure, but look at this. Voss displays microscopic images of neural tissue. These connection patterns match descriptions in coalition archaeological records of a species that went extinct 500 years ago. Chen's blood runs cold. They preserve what they consume. Captain to the bridge. Diaz's voice interrupts over communications. Priority transmission from Coalition High Command. Klavak's expression is grim, even for a reptilian. We've deciphered fragments of swarm communications. They're concentrating forces to assault the Arcturus portal. If it falls, they'll have direct access to the Coalition's core worlds. How many ships? Chen asks. Thousands. Our intelligence suggests they'll bring 3 hive carriers. Lu looks up sharply. Hive carriers. Alpo. Alpo. Lu. He looks up sharply. Command ships, Kleibach explains. We've only encountered 2 before. Both encounters resulted in total Coalition defeats. We're mobilizing everything we have, Teresh adds, including the Nemesis. After the transmission, Chen studies the tactical projections. They're adapting to us. It's a deliberate escalation. We should request reinforcements from Earth, Kane suggests. There's no time, Chen says. And Earth won't risk any more ships on what looks like a losing battle. Then we fight anyway, Reyes concludes. We fight smart, Chen corrects. Officer Lu, I want tactical analysis of those previous defeats. Dr. Voss, anything you can tell me about the hive carriers, Kanan, work with engineering to maximize our defensive capabilities while the crew disperses. Chen accesses a private communication channel. The face that appears belongs to an alien species not represented on the Coalition Council, burly with 4 arms and bioluminescent patches on rocky-looking skin. Captain Chen rumbles the alien. You're taking a big risk contacting me directly. I need information the Coalition isn't sharing. Ambassador Cabot. Regarding the origins of the swarm, the alien's glowing patches pulse slowly. Which makes him think the hegemony knows more than its Coalition allies, because you've been fighting them longer before they were called the swarm, Cabos. He remains silent for a long moment. Meet me at Outpost Sigma 9. Come alone. Outpost Sigma 9 exists in contested space, nominally neutral territory, where representatives of the Coalition and the hegemony can meet without official recognition. Chen's shuttle docks with forged credentials. Cabos waits for her in a dimly lit corner of the station's diplomatic sector. He understands that this conversation violates several treaties. I understand that my people are dying for yours without knowing why, Chen retorts. The ambassador's glowing patches dim. The swarm is not natural. It was created as a weapon. By whom? By us, by all of us. The ancient precursor civilizations that became the Coalition, the hegemony, and others. A war that makes this look like a border skirmish. Chen processes the revelation, a weapon turned against its creators, designed to adapt, to collect, and to reconfigure. When the war ended, the weapon wasn't properly deactivated, left dormant, buried in forgotten worlds. Now something has awakened it. The Coalition knows this. The Coalition leadership knows fragments. They fear the truth will fracture their alliance. What else are they withholding from us? Cabos hesitates. The swarm targets specific worlds first, those with certain rare elements. They're following a program from the ancient war, rebuilding something. What? We don't know, but they recognize Earth technology as different, threatening. As Chen returns to her shuttle, she receives an emergency transmission from the Nemesis. Captain. Reyes's voice is strained. The swarm attacked earlier than anticipated. Coalition forces are in retreat. The portal to Arcturus has fallen. Set course for my shuttle. We're after them. Set course for the Coalition's core systems. Against 3 hive carriers, Chen's expression hardens. One ship is all what we need. Chen is alone in her quarters, the weight of command on her shoulders. She opens a small metal case and takes out a worn photograph. It's her and a dark-haired woman in front of Earth's orbital defense platform. She traces the other woman's face with her finger. "I'll be back, Ellis," she whispers. "I promised." A doorbell interrupts her thoughts. "Come in," she says. Putting the photo away, Reyes enters with a data tablet. "The Coalition's latest intelligence on swarm movements," she explains, then notices Chen's expression. "Are you thinking about the Ganymede incident?" Chen's hand unconsciously touches the scar along her jaw. 6 years ago. Not so different from now. It's completely different, Reyes replies. That was a mutiny on a mining colony. This is interstellar warfare. Same principle. Chen stands and walks over to the tactical display. Overwhelming odds, limited resources, impossible expectations, and you saved those miners, Reyes reminds her against orders. Chen's expression it's overshadowed. Not everyone. That was the incident that both forged and nearly ruined Chen's career. An uprising at the mining colony on Jupiter's moon had turned violent. Chen, then a lieutenant, disobeyed direct orders to wait for reinforcements. He entered with his small security team into the compromised sections of the habitat, saving 37 miners, but losing 3 of his own, the scar on his jaw a reminder of an impulsive decision. Admiral Zhou gave me this command as punishment. You know that, Chen says quietly. The experimental Earth vessel on what he considers a suicide mission. The ultimate test of whether my judgment is sound or the ultimate acknowledgement that you're the only one who could pull it off, Reyes suggests. Chen allows himself a faint smile. Always the optimist, Miguel. Someone on this ship has to be, he replies. In the ship's gym, Ken spars with head of security Takeda. Their styles contrast sharply, Kane, aggressive and direct, Takeda, fluid and reactive. Telegraphs. The left hook. Takeda observes, easily deflecting Kane's attack. And you hesitate before counterattacking. Ken responds, using that knowledge to slip through Takeda's defense. They continue in silence until Dr. Boss enters with diagnostic equipment. Excuse me for interrupting, but I need baseline readings in active combat situations, studying us alongside the aliens. Doctor, Kane jokes, wiping away his sweat. Exactly, her voice confirms, devoid of irony. Human adaptability may be key to understanding our advantage against the swarm. As she takes readings, Takeda observes the equipment skeptically. Do you really think our biology makes us special? The Coalition has species that regenerate limbs, survive in the vacuum, live for centuries. It's not about our physical attributes, her voice explains, absorbed in her data. It's about our cognitive patterns. Human decision-making is remarkably unpredictable. Even to ourselves, Ken chuckles. So we could win because we know what we're doing because the swarm can't anticipate what we'll do next. A voice corrects itself. They learn patterns. Humans create chaos. Takeda ponders this. My grandmother survived the Sydney floods of 2189. She said that humans are like cockroaches, impossible to eliminate because under pressure we scatter in unexpected directions. Not very flattering, Kano remarks. Exactly. A voice replies. And potentially our most powerful weapon. Chief Engineer Santos walks through the propulsion section with Officer Liu, calibrating systems pushed beyond their design limits. One more day like this and we'll be venting plasma, Santos warns, her hands moving deftly over the controls. These engines were already experimental before we left Earth. Now we're rewriting the operating parameters every hour. It can't be helped, Liu replies, reviewing the diagnostics. Based on the swarm's movement patterns, we're always one step ahead of total disaster. Santos stops what she's doing. You grew up in the orbital colonies, right? Complex 5. Liu nods. I was born in Armstrong City. I didn't set foot on Earth until academy training. Makes sense. Santos observes. You naturally think in 3 dimensions. Most Earthlings still conceptualize space as up. What about you? Lou asks. Brazilian Coast Restoration Project. After the rise in sea level, Santos's expression turns distant. I spent my childhood building barriers to hold back the ocean. Now I hold together an experimental propulsion core with the same mindset. Containing the void. Lou murmurs. Exactly. Santos confirms. Different medium, same principle. Lou studies the engineer closely. That's what humanity does best, isn't it? Adapting technologies to survive. Earth forced us to be endlessly resourceful. That's why, says Santos, slapping the engine housing, this temperamental beast will keep going, even if physics suggests otherwise, because we need it to. Communications Officer Diaz calibrates the translation matrix in the ship's library surrounded by holographic screens displaying languages of the coalition, 14 distinct phonological systems, he murmurs, 26 writing systems, and more than 200 dialects. He massages his temples, fighting off the fatigue. Nearby, Dr. Andrus from the health department reviews biological data. Linguistic headache. He asks sympathetically. Translators handle basic communication, Diaz explains. But the nuances, the species within the coalition don't just speak differently, they think differently. The crit process information sequentially, while the bolus experience time non-linearly. Sounds like my marriage, Andrus jokes weakly. Diaz smiles despite herself. How's Gabriel? He's still at the lunar base teaching xenobiology to Academy cadets, Andrus confirms. Safe from all this, he gestures vaguely toward the windows. He wanted me to stay, too. What made you volunteer? Diaz asks quietly. Andreas considers the question. Curiosity in part, but mostly preparation. Whatever's out here will come to Earth. Sooner or later. Better understand it now. In our terms, days, firmly. My parents were first-generation colonists on Mars. They said that space isn't humanity's challenge, it's our refuge. Earth taught us to survive anywhere, and now we're putting it to the test, Andrus says, gazing at the star field beyond the ship. In the tactical center, Chen meets with his senior officers to study the intelligence gathered from their coalition allies and Cabot's revelations. Earth has been lied to for centuries, Chen begins. The coalition deliberately isolated us while monitoring our development. We need to understand why, according to Cabot, human unpredictability, Reyes summarizes. Our propensity for both rapid technological advancement and violence that snorts with derision. How nice. Coming from a species that's losing a galactic war explains certain historical anomalies. For example, the Proxima Centauri signal of 1119 that mysteriously ceased, the Phobos incident on Mars in 2178, where supposedly non-human technology was discovered, identified and then categorized. They've been watching us, Lou concludes, directing our attention inward. And now they need our help, Chen says. The question is, can we trust them as allies? We can't, Takeda states bluntly. But we don't need to. Our interests align temporarily. Chen considers that perspective. Earth's defensive isolation was both imposed and self-chosen. After the climate wars, the focus turned inward. Rebuild, terraform, colonize our system. As we perfected sustainable societies, we ignored what lay beyond, creating a technological trajectory uncontaminated by the coalition's influence, Santos suggests. Our isolation became our strength. Exactly, Chen affirms. Our weapon systems, our tactics, even our thought patterns developed differently. That's why they specifically called us out, and why the swarm has difficulty countering us. So we are weapons, Kane concludes. We are alternatives, Chen corrects. A different evolutionary path that could succeed where their unified focus had failed. Humanity thrives on diversity and chaos, principles the hierarchical coalition struggles to embrace. The discussion is interrupted by an alert. Captain, we've detected anomalous transmission patterns from coalition headquarters. Someone is sending encrypted communications outside of authorized channels. Can you trace the recipient? Chen asks, not precisely. But the transmission pattern matches the swarm's communication protocols. The officers exchange worried glances. We've confirmed Cabo's assertion, Liu says quietly. Someone within the coalition